Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here today with another Friday Reads to give you a quick update of what I am currently reading. So I thought I might finish this by the end of February, but it looks like it's going into March, and that is Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane. I had heard so much about this book, so it was on my list. Well, she was on my list of authors I've never read that I gave my family for Christmas, and my husband gave me this book. And then I was thrilled to find out that Nikki of the Red Dot Reads channel, though she's taking a break from BookTube, that she wanted to do a buddy read. She wanted to read it as well. So she and I are buddy reading this. Last summer, she and I did a buddy read of The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles, and that was so much fun. We really enjoyed reading it together. It really deepened and enriched my reading of that book, and I think she felt the same way. So we're both really enjoying this. I'm a little more than halfway now. I actually had no idea what it was about when I started, which is fine. I had heard so many people say it was a great book. I'm fine going into a book blind. In fact, I often prefer it that way. I didn't even read the back of it or the blurb, just went in cold. And so it begins in 1973 when two young men meet in police training in the police academy for the New York Police Department, and then are assigned as rookies together and end up being partners. Francis had just immigrated from Ireland, was fresh off the boat, as they say, and Brian was also from Ireland, but had been in the United States for quite some time. So the two of them met, they became friends, not super close, but partners and friends. They ended up buying houses next door to each other in a small town in a rural area outside of New York City. That's where the story begins, of how these two families' lives are intrinsically connected. No spoilers, but there is a tragedy that occurs that affects both of their families. The book also deals with mental illness. It's a major theme here. We move from Brian and Francis and their wives into the next generation and see how a friendship develops between their kids. And I can't wait to see where it goes next. It's very well written. There's a lot of emotional complexity here. So again, it's turning out to be a great book to buddy read because, again, I think as with The Lincoln Highway, Nikki and I are both getting more out of it by talking about it. I mean, I'd be happy if I was able to discuss every single book I read. I like getting in depth like this. So I'm really enjoying Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane. Oh, and I forgot to mention that she had a new book out last year, The Half Moon, came out last year, is being released in paperback on April 2nd this year. And that book and this author are one of the selections for Booktopia. That's an annual event that I go to in Vermont every spring. This year it's in the last weekend of April. It is a really unique book event. It's like a casual weekend where authors and readers get to hang out together. There are meals and talks and interactive things, book trivia one night. It's just a whole lot of fun. And there are usually about 7 to 8 authors chosen. Mary Beth Keane is one of those authors this time with her newer release, The Half Moon. So I am not only reading this, I'm going to read her next book, and I can't wait to meet her at the end of April. On audio this week, I have been cramming. So we got back from our trip to Texas last week. I suddenly realized that we had book group on February 29th, which is when I'm recording this, and that I had no idea what the book even was. It was Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall. And it's a 2013 release, but for some reason on Libby, the electronic copies, the ebooks, the digital downloads for audio were completely, there was a wait list of like 22 people for the digital audio. So since I was already buddy reading this with Nikki, I really needed the audio for this. So I actually requested the CDs from my library. It's from 2013, so they had them, and I got them pretty quickly. So I only just started this on Saturday or Sunday. I had to, there are 9 discs in here. And yeah, I had to download each one of them onto my laptop and then upload to my iPod, but it worked. I'm on the last CD now, right at the end of the book. I need to finish it by 12:30 when my book group starts. So I'll try to keep this quick. And I'm enjoying it very, very much. Listening to it, really, like cramming it in like this, has actually turned out pretty well because I've been fully immersed in this story. It's narrated by a 9-year-old girl named Starla in Mississippi in 1963. So Starla lives with her grandmother. Her father works out on one of the oil rigs. Her mother is in Nashville and wants to be a singer. She did send Starla a 45 of one of her songs. As Starla doesn't understand, it's a demo. So she thinks her mom is a famous singer. So Starla gets in some trouble with her grandmother, with a boy who's been bullying her. And she thinks, her grandmother's really strict with her. So she thinks she's going to be sent to reform school because that's what her grandmother's always threatening her with. So Starla runs away. And she's hitchhiking. Her idea is to go to Nashville to live with her mother. So, as you can imagine, things don't work out the way she expected. Luckily, the first person who comes across her driving and picks her up is a really sweet woman named Eula. She's a Black woman. This is 1963 in Mississippi. She and Starla, yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. They encounter some real challenges. They have some adventures together. Not fun adventures, but, they really endure some difficulties together. This is a wonderful, wonderful story of the remarkable, unique relationship that develops between the two of them. And like I said, I'm right at the end now. Can't wait to see how it all wraps up. Things are looking pretty good right now, which is what I was hoping for. Definitely recommend Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall, and it is excellent on audio. The narrator really nails that Mississippi little girl narration. You get some of the dialect, and it's perfect. So definitely recommend that, and need to get busy and finish it. Tomorrow, when this video goes live, it will be March 1st. In some ways, February seemed to last forever, and in other ways, of course, it's a shorter month. But anyway, for my next audio, since I will finish that today, in March, I participated the last couple of years in middle grade March, really enjoyed that. However, I have a lot of reading to do for Booktopia, that event that I mentioned to you. There are about 8 books picked for it, and I haven't read any of them yet, so I need to get moving on that. So my middle grade March reading will probably be mostly audios, like it was last year for the same reason. I'll be reading my Booktopia books in print or ebook and can listen to middle grade books, which works out pretty well. So I've picked my first one. I also just found out this morning, I was watching a video by Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, and learned that March is also the Fierce Reads Challenge or Readathon, and that is focused on books by female authors, books about women, fierce women. So with that in mind, I chose for my first middle grade book, a book that is written by a woman and features a female character. That's Butterfly Yellow by Than Lai. I'm sure I said her name wrong. It's Vietnamese. Once I start listening to the audio, I'll hear the correct way to pronounce it. I don't know much about it, except that it takes place during the Vietnam War. It's about a brother and a sister in Vietnam who are separated. One of them escapes to America. The other one is stuck there during the war. So this sounds really great. The kind of middle grade book I like, with, some really in-depth emotional complexity, and also set in a place that I don't know a whole lot about, Vietnam. So I'm looking forward to listening to that next. I also learned this morning that it is also March Mystery Madness. Don't know if I'll be able to work that in as well, but those are my plans for the short term. So that's what I'm reading. I would love to hear what you're reading this weekend. Please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you're planning to do any March reading events, and take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel.